gotta plant a seed for the future. Plant a seed for the future. Even if we never live to see the shade. Even if we never see the shade. We gotta plant a seed for the future. We gotta plant a seed for the future. Even if we never get the glory or the praise. Let's go. This is history in the making. This is where you rise.
Welcome to True North, where we help you find your path forward.
Hello, everyone. I'm Frank Griffin, and this is Mark Davis, and we are co-creators of True North, a podcast focusing on helping you find your path forward from wherever you are to wherever you want or need to be. Our focus will always fall under faith, family, and finance. And we are so excited about kicking off season number 3. And before I forget, please like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue to provide relevant information to support your path forward. One of the topics our viewers requested for us to cover was to discuss how to move from success to significance. And Mark and I talked about this earlier this week and decided that this topic should and could be a two-parter. So we're going to break this down into 2 parts, and we will cover significance in a later podcast, in a future podcast. But for today, we decided to talk about success. And at the end of this episode, we will give you some tools, some tips you can utilize to help you step into your success. Right? But for now, Mark, maybe you can kick us off and talk a little bit about some surefire ways our audience can step into their success.
So thanks, Frank. One of the things that we talked about, and I think is fundamental, is the ability to set goals. If you want to be successful, you got to know where you're going, why you're going there, and how you get there. And at the time of this recording, we're at the start of the first quarter of a new year. And most people view as the start of a new year as a reset button. They tend to set resolutions that most people don't keep, mainly because the way resolutions tend to come off is they're wishes rather than goals.
Good.
Goals are defined as a clear destination with a clear timeline and a plan to go with it. So let's say I plan to read more books. My goal is to read more books in the upcoming year. So I want to read 6 books in the first 90 days of the year. And 90 days, I think, is a perfect place, perfect timeline to use for most goals, if not shorter. So that is my desire. That's what I want to do. Why I wanted to do it is I want to increase my knowledge. And let's say in my case, it might be AI. AI is real hot right now. I understand, what I think I understand is a pretty good amount, but it's not meeting my expectations. So I'm setting a goal that I'm going to learn more. So I'm going to read more. And how I'm going to get there is 2 books a month for that first 90 days, first quarter of the year. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to read, let's just make the number up, 4 chapters a day, 5 days a week, or 2 chapters a day, 5 days a week. And you do the math based on the size of the book you get. That should work out to get you where you want to be in 90 days. And I harp on 90 days a lot, and Frank and I have talked about this. If you're north of 45, you have more runway behind you than you do in front of you. Most of us don't live to 90. So you really don't want to waste time. And 90 days, let's take this example I've got launched here. If I don't do the increasing my knowledge in AI, I'm going to go those same 30 or 90 days and not have learned anything, or just picked up on what life sent me and gained it through osmosis. You need to be more intentional with that. My passion there is I have to be more intentional than that. So that's why goals are so important to me. Frank, you want to weigh in?
Yeah, I love this 90-day or 3 month focus because I've been people I've mentored over the years. I'm always asking them, what's your 3 to 5 year plan? And probably only 25% of them have a 3 to 5 year plan. But I can understand that's just more difficult. And many times if they do have a plan, they ask me, but how can I get started? And my typical answer in the past was, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. But it still looks to be very difficult. You're looking so far out. But for 90 days or 3 months, you can really kind of focus in and try to get some things accomplished. And then the next 3 months and the next 3 months, you have 4 rounds of this, right? And you have a very productive year, very productive year. So I love this 90-day challenge, if you will. Really like that
So
a lot.
when you think about it, Frank, on the continuum of goal to wish,
Mm-hmm.
when folks are out 3 to 5 years, it's more of a wish. Because if they ask you
Good.
how am I supposed to do this, then that's that plan. There's no timeline. Well, there's a timeline, but there's no plan to
That's good.
execute under that timeline.
Hmm.
Almost all of the topics we cover on True North require discipline.
The
Setting
big
and
D.
accomplishing goals
Yes.
are
Yes.
just that. So I require that, and everything we talk about will require a level of discipline. If it
Yes.
doesn't, it's probably not worth pursuing
That's true. I can see
because
that. I can see
you're
that.
just stumbling into it anyway.
So AI for you, Mark, is the vision you have is to be more proficient in artificial intelligence or
Correct.
understanding. That's
Correct.
your vision. And then the
Correct.
goals you're using for the first 90 days is to read more, to
Yes.
increase your knowledge, right? So you have a vision, right? But then you're going to step through this vision, like taking steps on a ladder towards your vision with goals in a 90-day, 3 month increment.
Mhm.
It's a good way to do it. That's an excellent
Yeah.
way to do it. Then you
Yep.
can evaluate yourself at the end of, for example, right now, as we're submitting this podcast out, we're at the beginning of a new year, 2026, January 2026. You can evaluate where you are in March, the end of March 2026, and decide how you want to shift, right? Do I need
Yep.
to read more, or I've read a lot? Do I need to do something else, more podcasts, or, what's that next step? So
Mhm.
that's a very good way to try to reach your vision, if you will, right?
And to kind of flip it around, and this is more of a personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of trouble thinking I wasted a fourth of the year just meandering around, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to I am more informed on a topic. It could be I put more effort into my marriage. I want to
Good,
focus on improving my faith walk. I
good.
wanted to advance my career. I wanted to advance my financial status. Whatever it is, any of those I just named, I will be a better Mark Davis if I do them compared to not.
And I love that, Mark. Another thing I really love about your 90-day challenge, I keep saying, is that a lot of the reasons why many of us fail to keep our New Year's resolutions is because we try to pile too much into it. We've got 5 things we're trying to get accomplished, right? And so what you're doing is you're focusing on something for 90 days. And then if you look at every 90 days or every 3 months, you can actually have 4 different areas of focus possibly, right? But you're focusing on one item at a time. And wherever you put your focus, you're more productive,
Mhm.
right? And, I remember, and we can talk about this back in the 90s, because we were working in the 90s. Back in the
Right.
90s, one of those resume items you wanted to put on there is your ability to multitask. Remember those
Mhm.
days?
Oh yeah.
But the science behind that is multitasking is not a good deal, right? Whenever you're multitasking, you're doing multiple tasks not very well. So wherever you can focus, that's where you could be more productive. So I really like this, right? Just reading about AI for 3 months, and then let's see where we are at the end of March. That's a great example. Great example.
Health, wealth, knowledge, career, marriage.
Yeah.
Those are just 5 that pop right off. You
Yeah.
improve in any of those, I'm going to get out there a little bit and say you'll be a better person.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll
Absolutely.
have more significance, and we'll get into that in another podcast, in that you'll impact other people. Let's say you do, if it's your marriage, it's obvious what'll happen. If in my AI example, well, I need to know for me, but I need to also know for other people who this isn't their area of passion as it is mine. So I'm in the season of life as you are. It's giveaway time, philanthropic efforts. You know, I worked 40 years. Corporate was great. It did a lot for me, but it's another season for me. Hence this podcast. Podcast is not as easy as people think, and it's not super comfortable. But what you see us doing now is a combination of Frank had a vision, I have had a vision. We've known each other all our lives. We connected out of the blue, merged them together, and True North was born. So there again was what we wanted to accomplish, a timeline to do it, and a plan to pull it off. And here we sit. May not be perfect, not Joe Rogan or any of that kind of thing, but our goal is manifesting. We are now, you can look back and what do we have? Probably a dozen plus episodes out there. So again, I'm not getting too far off topic. That was a goal for us, and we moved accordingly.
And anyone can participate in this. It's input gives you output. You get out of it what you put into it, right? So it's as simple as, taking a little time. The problem is we're like hamsters on a treadmill, if you will, or hamsters on a reel. Just run, 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 run. If we just slow down a little bit and just kind of reflect and think about where we want to go, reflect on the past and think about where we want to go in the future, and put some goals, a vision of where you want to be for you and your family, and then put those goals together to get there. And the time frame, I love it. 90 days, 3 months. So that's a good deal. Good deal. Another thing I want to challenge our listeners with, and it has a biblical aspect of it, and scientific fact behind that. What's happening is the scientists are just now starting to discover what the Bible wrote down thousands of years ago. But the Bible says, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, right? So if you have a vision or you have goals, we would highly recommend that you write it down. Write it down. There's scientific evidence that if you write your vision down, they say you're 42% more likely to achieve that vision or goals by writing it down. There's some type of connection between scribing your brain and actualizing, really manifesting what you're trying to get accomplished. So, strongly recommend, think about it. And these kids, I hate it. These kids, they don't write anything down. We'll be in class, Bible class or a leadership class that I'm teaching, and they come in and just sit there and look at me, and it drives me crazy, right? It drives me crazy. They're exercising their brain, right? But, you really are more successful if you can write it down. Write it down.
I bet you if you ask them 48 hours later and you picked a major component of your discussion, not some minuscule portion, you picked some major, like even what was the total overall topic? I bet you would hear a lot of nothing.
Wrong answers.
Yeah, wrong answers, if any answer. But that's, you put that intention behind goals when you write it down.
You do. And again, it's just not experience. And I find it to be very beneficial because I love to scribe, right? There's something about it, and it just helps make it more meaningful. more meaningful, right? My wife has these interns that tend to work for her, and none of them write anything down. And then she has to go back to them to remind them what she asked them to do, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, right? So what I always said, we're rambling now a little bit about our own experiences, but what we're saying is it's an advantage for you to write down what you want to get accomplished. Absolutely.
I want
Absolutely.
to throw one in, Frank, as you hit your passion. I'll make this one quick. So a goal might be to increase my finance position. Maybe it's
Good.
increase my wealth position. I did a little research. If you would have invested $1,000 in Apple 5 years ago,
Mhm.
today you would have like $2,200. You
Hmm.
didn't do anything else other than put a grand in the Apple stock all at the
And
same
leave it
time,
there.
which
And leave it there.
yeah,
Hmm.
and just leave it alone. You'd
Hmm.
have twice as much money. Now you
Hmm.
can multiply that 10 grand, 100 grand, depending on what you heck, $100,
Right.
and
Right.
look at the benefits on the back end. But
Mm.
again, I had to have a goal, and then I wanted to increase or improve my wealth position.
That's good.
How am I going to do that? I did research. This is a company that I really like and think highly of. So there's my passion, my what I want to go after. My
Mm.
timeline is I, I can ride this horse as long as I want to, or I want
Mm.
to see where I'm at in every year, or in 5 years, I want to see where I'm at. Those
That's good.
kinds of things are very simple goals
Yeah. Yeah.
and that you can do. Now, like I'm passionate about the reverse of that. You did it. I didn't. I knew the same thing you knew. You did it. 90 days later, you've doubled your investment.
Hmm.
My money's in a savings account earning 0.1%. And I knew better, but I didn't have the intention and the passion to set the goal in place and put it in action. So those are
Mm.
just that's an example in kind of in comparison to your write it down example.
I think it's any successful person is goal setting. They
Yeah.
have a vision. You need to have a
Yep.
vision, and then you're setting goals to get to your vision. Every successful person, right? From Elon Musk to, Bill Gates, who's retired, to any of the
Mhm.
new CEOs, right, in these AI companies right now,
Mhm.
they all are working strategically, thinking about their next move, the goals, right?
Mhm.
It's very important. Very important. I agree. Even from the point you just made about investing in Apple, even if you need to save some money, Mark, you talked about this. We talked about this earlier this week, right? If you could just put maybe $100 a month into savings, right? $100 a month, saying I'm going to try to save $300 by the end of March, 3 months, $300, and then do it again. And if you could do that, if you could survive that, for example, and if your budget allow it, and in a March, you say, okay, I'll do it again for April, May, June, and then for July, August, September, you do it to the end of the year, you have $1,200, right? And if you can put that money in some type of just strong stock, right, that you know that is going, that's going to be around. This is
Mhm.
not it's not one of these try to get rich quick schemes, but
Mhm.
a solid performer, right? Or in a mutual fund, right? And leave it in there for 3 years. You could really maybe have around $5,000, something like
Well,
that, right?
a couple of things that you mentioned, if you notice, you said 300 a quarter. Well,
Mm-hmm.
by the third quarter, you're pretty close to the $1,000 I
Thousand
was talking
dollars.
about.
You are.
So
That's
you
right.
put that to work,
That's good.
and you might have built a habit of saving an additional $100 a month or whatever we
Mm-hmm.
describe here.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a habit, and then you gain what's compounding. But
Mm.
along the way, you got to have the goals, and you got to have a destination. I want to understand investing better than I do today. I want to increase my wealth a little bit. Goals. So
Mm-hmm.
I know we've hit the goals hard.
We have, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. And you
So
just
I'm
said
just
something.
looking
Yeah,
at
while you're
my,
looking at your notes, right? You said something just a second. They're habits,
yeah.
right? If you can create positive habits in your life, success comes automatically.
Hmm.
A habit is when you basically have oriented your thinking, your brain to do something almost on autopilot, right? It's just something that you naturally just do. If you can create habits that are positive in your life, success will just happen.
Hmm.
It will have to happen, right? So the key is to build good habits, right? Build good habits. And by having these 90-day, 3-month goals, you're building a habit of always trying to have, a life of progression, right? Just trying to do more, be more, have more, possibly, right? Be able to benefit others more, right? So that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
As we move to success, when it comes to goals, I want to leave our audience with 3 tools
Good.
that they can use, and I'd encourage you to use, and that's write down 3 goals and plan on them to occur in the next 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
Identify a daily habit for each of them. There's your plan. And then add an accountability partner.
Good.
Find someone who can help you, encourage you, challenge you, what have you, to
Mm-hmm.
continue to improve. I can't let it go.
Yeah.
Imagine if you don't improve. You shared this with me before. When you stop learning, you start dying. I don't want to be morbid with it, but it's the truth.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I
You start
take those
sliding.
3 things, 3 goals, write them down, look at a 90-day window, build a daily habit as to how you're going to reach that goal, and then get an accountability partner to help you along the way.
That's awesome. That's awesome. This 90-day challenge, ladies and gentlemen, is a absolutely surefire way to grow, right? In all areas of your life that you want to grow in, right? And it's not 5 years, it's not 3 years, it's 3 months, right? And we could do anything for 3 months, and you'll be so surprised at the end of the 3 months how far you've come. So we're challenging you to do that, to figure out what your vision is for you and your family. What are the goals for you to get to that vision, right? And then assess where you are at the end of the 90 days, the 3 months, and do it again. Do it again. So we really appreciate this time. We probably should wrap up now because Mark and I could talk about this for another 40 minutes. Easy, easy. But, remember to like and subscribe True North Podcast. It helps us to be able to bring material, right, that will be able to help you reach your path forward. Thanks again, everyone. Thanks again. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks all.
Thank you for tuning into True North.